Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6. Episode 6 of I Was Thinking with Robbie McElhaney. First, before we get started, make sure you follow us on all our socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us or find us wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. Before we talk about what we're talking about today, well, I didn't love how that sounded. That was not a great intro, folks. But before we introduce what we're going to talk about today, allow me to introduce our esteemed guest this week. Kate wrote the introduction for him, and she was very excited about it. He is a WWE lover, a NASCAR enthusiast. He idolizes the city of Pittsburgh, and in Kate's eyes, he is an overall great guy. Please welcome my older brother, not bigger brother, older brother, Josh, or as Kate so lovingly calls him, Joshy. Joshy, welcome to the show.
I appreciate the introduction.
Yep.
I don't think any of those points
are
far from the truth.
I had nothing to do with that. Hers was far nicer. Hers was far nicer than mine.
I don't doubt that.
But we're very excited to have you. I don't want to say this week's going to be a different model. We've done this model in the past. It's not WWE, even though I was surprised the reception the WWE episode got. Our buddy Pajak liked it. We had some nice talks about it this week. And just for the record, Kate, he very much supported my Shawn Michaels wedding entrance. So make sure we continue that into consideration. You know, and this is going to be stupid. I don't think it was stupid. Quick story. So we started doing some wedding stuff yesterday, decorative items. And I was thinking, she's painting these an R and a K, and then we're going to have them in baskets out in front of the venue. And we're going to paint them white, and we're going to go put dry flowers on them. I still don't know what a dry flower is. I thought flowers were all dry. Oh. I know there's moisture to them, but it's also a thing. I've seen them. And I was going to ask, something we haven't addressed, folks, our little taking care of business sign paying homage to the late, great Mr. Elvis Presley. I'm obsessed with Elvis. I think you would agree.
A little bit.
So I was going to ask if on my R we could put like a little Elvis. And I'm like, wait a second. I have a phenomenal idea.
Oh, boy.
What if we get a miniature Elvis figurine and we hide it somewhere in the wedding venue, whether it's like on the dessert table at the bar, like on a table under a seat somewhere.
Just like a hidden Mickey in Disney World.
Similar, but when you find it, like whoever finds the Elvis gets a gift card. And I wasn't even married to the gift card idea, just something. Give them like a high five, like make them like feel acknowledged. So Kate goes kind of silent, which I didn't really think anything of because she goes silent for most of my ideas about life in general.
Yeah.
But then she goes, okay, get the approval of our mothers first, which I'm like, great. That's, I think it's a good idea. I think they'll think it's a good idea.
Sure.
So I decide to start with our mother, which is a horrible idea.
Starting off strong.
And so I call Melissa Sue, and I open up with my common Melissa Sue, how do you do line. And I said, I have this idea, and I explained the wedding idea, and then she goes silent.
Huh.
And
2 for 2.
And I could, what are your thoughts? Give me, what's your opinion? And she goes, well, Rob, the silence should have told you my answer.
Yeah.
And she proceeded to say, this is a wedding, not an 11-year-old's birthday party. Which I'm sitting here, like, call me an 11-year-old. Because if I go to a wedding and I have the chance to win a gift card, shit, I'm sold.
Sure.
So, I don't really know how that got started, how we got onto that.
Well, I'll ask, so when the best man comes out, does he get Cody Rhodes-esque pyro?
No.
Okay.
I am the only Shawn Michaels. And you know the entrance, right?
Oh, yeah.
He comes down on the cherry picker, and And here's where I think it should be very much supported. Arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest match in WWE history is Taker Michaels WrestleMania 25.
Right.
Tell me that wouldn't lead to like a damn near perfect marriage.
I think an argument can be made.
The stars, Josh is in support. The stars are aligning. This is a good thing. We'll move on. Anywho, back to, I think we were just introducing the show. I don't even think we got past that. But similar style to what we've done. We're not going to have, it's not going to be overly organized. It's going to be free-flowing conversation with two astute, is that the right word?
That's
a gentleman. Josh went to private college. I just went to public, so I got to check my verbiage with him. Let me see. Yeah, so Josh is bringing some points in. Josh pretty much wrote the episode this week, so give him a little bit of credit, because I did not. But he brought some points in to discuss from some prior episodes, and I'm just going to add in my vast knowledge, we'll say. And I did tell you, and we're going to have some nice, healthy banter about said topics. I told you I wrote banter in the intro. We are then, and I do believe, we've talked about things, but we're really, for the first time, going to have a concrete conversation about my career. And we'll see where that goes. It's going to be a vulnerable conversation. I think this is good. We talked about it, and I don't openly talk about this, but I'm on a therapy journey. And I think this is going to be a good conversation.
I agree.
So let's see where we go. First, before we get started, we do want to send our condolences to the Holtz family after the passing of legendary head coach Lou Holtz. You can do one.
No, all I'll say is that guy is a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame person.
Absolutely, and I think, and I wrote it down. I grew up like the only Notre Dame fan in the Hopewell area school district. When you do that, one of the first people you learn about is Lou Holtz, let alone when you jump into that career and you dive into the man. And I have nothing but respect for him. So we are sending our condolences and our prayers to his family at this time. Are you ready? This is something you've been looking forward to.
What do you want to talk about?
All right, Cody. Let me slide over. This is Josh's part of the show because I'm just going to be here kind of blind reacting with banter.
I don't want to steal your thunder, but I thought we'd start with kind of the most recent episode and talk about some WWE hitters.
Give it to me.
So, want to talk about John Cena.
Okay.
Obviously, when you're our age and you are a WWE fan, you grew up with John Cena. So I think two things. The first thing is the heel turn.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree that it would have been better in 2012 against The Rock.
Correct.
I don't know that feud needed a heel because those two tore each other down.
Yes.
Every time they were in front of a crowd.
Well, and I think that's the thing with at least The Rock's character that allowed him to be so great in different storylines. Like you listen to him, I think it was in the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix. And he talked about very briefly the match between him and Hogan, where Hogan was supposed to be the heel. But The Rock played it so well that he was easily changed into the heel.
Well, that's the Stone Cold Bret Hart match, where Stone Cold went into the match, I think, as the heel, but came out the face. And things can happen organically like that. This heel turn, and I know, I think everybody wanted to see a heel Cena one more time. This was not organic. I mean, that moment at Elimination Chamber last year was spectacular.
It was.
I mean, it was well executed. The facial expression meme was tremendous.
It was a good moment.
But I just, as a person who grew up watching Cena, would have preferred the last 365 days would have been a celebration rather than him trying to get boos out of the crowd.
And even at that, even when he tried, and granted, maybe it's because we wanted that. And it's known that we wanted that. So I think there was a positive reaction to it, which whether they were trying to or not. It's just, I think what the WWE does wrong at times is it tries to force things. And you said that. It tries to force things. And where I'm already pissed off that Roman Reigns is going to beat Punk
I don't think that's a given.
I don't think it's a given, but come on.
Yeah, I could see it.
And they just continue. I saw something, I forget where it was I was reading, or I started a video. I didn't watch it. When I'm on YouTube, I'll just click a video that I want to watch. It's on my history. And it was from Shannon Sharp's podcast show, something. He had Seth Rollins on, and they were talking about the split of the Shield. And they were talking about how Roman was Vince's guy, and Seth was Triple H's guy. And who have been the two people. Now, granted, Seth earns it.
Oh, yeah.
Seth earns it. So,
well, I mean, give Roman his due, too, with the reinventing of the big dog to the tribal chief. Yeah. Like, talk about totally throwing out what you've done and reinventing yourself.
But even in that, he's still so forced.
Yes, I agree. Oh, you want to talk? I want to get to last night's SmackDown.
Oh yes,
we need to talk about in a second.
That.
I want to finish the Cena, the retirement tour. I know you don't like the way it ended.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, of all of the guys in that company, he's not doing anything that he doesn't say yes to.
No, I know.
He has, obviously, I think he's the greatest of all time. I think it's a close race between him and a couple of other guys, but I think he's the greatest of all time. What he did for that sphere is untouched.
He's the greatest in the modern era.
That's fair.
There's so many eras in wrestling.
Him tapping out to Gunther, I think was the appropriate way. And what I mean by that is, one, he signed off on it.
Well, yes.
Two, he signed off on it to build the next guy, which for a while, I don't know if it was the guy in charge or Cena, but Cena had a reputation for coming in for WrestleMania and burying a guy. But this was definitely not that, and you've seen it play out with AJ Styles, and I agree that I think thinking to win a SummerSlam in August or September, but it's probably going to play out with Brock Lesnar in Minneapolis.
Right.
But they're setting him up for long-term success.
Yeah. No, and I agree. The only thing I would counter that with is, and I may be wrong, Gunther didn't need it. Like, it's not like he's coming in as he's a new war guy, but he's not new. And I'm not saying that's correct, because obviously he was world heavyweight champion. He main evented WrestleMania.
True.
Right? I don't know if he main evented technically. But
everything is a main event at WrestleMania.
Exactly. But he didn't, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to have that. It didn't, it obviously has aided the character.
Sure.
But he didn't need it.
And I think the Gunther character, though, is all about breaking a guy down in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the more underrated matches is, I think it was at SummerSlam last year when he faced Punk, when Punk won the championship and Seth came out and cashed in. that match was so good. I don't know that I loved it in the moment, but because it just felt long and drawn out. But that's the kind of match that you get out of a guy like Gunther, and that's what made the Cena moment, I think, so important.
Right.
Because that's the story they're telling with him. Is you're gonna get in the ring with him, and he's just gonna wear you out.
Yeah. No, I get that. I agree.
So
that's understandable.
So you've had two really strong guys in Cena and Styles retire in the last 3-4 months.
Yep.
So I'll be curious to see what happens next. I think that the pivot is to this year's WrestleMania and something else that's being forced.
They put him with Dragon Lee?
Yeah, but I think to the what Cena did with Gunther point, like those guys now I think recognize, and I think AJ always did a bit of a better job than Cena did of knowing what they could do to build the next guy. And I think that was part of it, but I also am not a big believer in current creative with WWE. So I almost feel like the guy in charge didn't know what to do with him. So I think that was part of it, but I don't have any issue with the way that all cycled out. But what I do have an issue with is the same old with a forced title change.
Yes, and I was hoping we'd get to that. Here's the thing. First off, give myself a little pat on the back. What match did I say I wanted to see at WrestleMania?
Cody and Randy.
I hate a forced title change. I don't hate how they're getting to the match, though. Because, and I know they're not going to do it because of how creative is going right now. Tell me, and I think I said it too. I know I said it with the Cena match with Cody. Tell me a heel Cody turn. Somehow, some way, whether it be before the match, whether it be after prediction time, whether it be after Randy beats him for the championship at WrestleMania, or then countering prediction time, or he gets some kind of ego thing after he beats Randy, who kind of made him in his first run with WWE. I don't like a forced title change, but I like storytelling, and this is a way to tell a story. And I hate Drew McIntyre as a champion. Call me an asshole with that, but I hate Drew.
I feel bad for him.
I do, because he keeps getting right
twice.
over.
Like twice now, he's had a championship and didn't even like I don't want to say I hate him as a champion because you've never really gotten to see him as champion.
And maybe that's why I say I don't like him as a champion, because it's just been...
He gets a title and 3 minutes later it's gone. I think this feud, and I agree that this is one that I think there were a lot of people clamoring for. And I don't have an issue with the Cody-Randy feud. I had an issue with we got to get the belt on Cody. We got to get the belt on Cody.
Right.
This feud, though, is different than the Rock Cena feud that I just talked about, where I don't think that they needed a heel there. I think this feud needs a heel.
I agree.
Specifically, the one that you've talked about, Randy's a great heel. Anybody that watched late 2000s, early 2010s, such a great heel.
2004 was 4 or 5 when he was doing his run with Undertaker.
I think that was Evolution, turning to Taker.
Well, yeah.
But anytime, regardless of when, anytime Randy Orton was a heel, he was great.
Right.
But what I don't want to see is the canned Cody Rhodes, what do you want to talk about, face promos, where I think if you had him heel, I think you could play into that mentor protege type storyline better and more effective when there's a heel-face relationship,
right,
rather than just two faces.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you pay attention to the body language that occurred after Elimination Chamber,
yeah,
you're getting there. But I know there's a reluctance to turn Cody heel, both by the company and Cody himself, I think.
which I get. If there is a time to do it, because I also said, and I didn't really play out how I thought it would, but when I went off on my tangent last week about what would set up a Cody Randy match, because I didn't think a championship would be involved. I'm not upset that there is one, but because I think, too, you look at Randy as one of the best champions of all time. Cody has had some recent fairly good title runs success-wise. I think that adds to the storytelling. But I said last week something would happen in the match that could trip something. And Randy hits him with, all is fair and everything. Hits him with the RKO, wins the match to go to Mania.
It has all the makings to be a great story.
It does. And I agree with you. I don't disagree. I get where you're going with it has the makings to be a great story. Don't love how it started.
I think what I'll say to kind of put a bow on it is this WrestleMania and WrestleMania season
Mm-hmm.
is extremely important for WWE.
Very much.
I think the numbers aren't great.
No.
They're having a hard time selling tickets for WrestleMania.
Well, if they didn't have them so damn expensive.
Yeah.
And do the same thing. Where was it supposed to be? In New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Which has a great turnout for them.
Vegas paid up. Vegas paid up, and I know the change in the company, and they're doing things differently, but it's an expensive gate to get into, and I think this WrestleMania season is extremely important for the company.
It very much is.
So I'm curious to see how it plays out. I do think the one positive of WrestleMania season is the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I love the role that they've got The Undertaker playing now. I think of all of the people they could have chosen to do that,
he's the best.
He is the absolute right pick for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know that a lot of people, maybe other than us, have him on their Mount Rushmore.
Which is so sad.
Yes.
Because I think they don't, but they do at the same time. They don't have him listed, but he's there in their mind because he has to be.
I think the in-ring stuff for him is a little more challenging for some people to enjoy. The character work was second to none.
Absolutely.
So the fact that they've brought him back and are doing that now is the right pick. The right place.
For sure.
So we'll see how it plays out. I think it's 50-50 on the Punk Roman thing. I don't know what to think about the Cody Randy thing because, it's still in its infancy. Everybody knew that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But, I think as soon as they announced after Elimination Chamber, I think on the post show that it was going to be Drew and Cody for the title, like, who didn't see Cody winning that match as soon as they announced it? I mean, writing was on the wall.
I mean, yes, but
so that was I thought your WWE episode was great. I wanted to talk about Cena because he was an important part of, I think, our childhood. So I wanted to put a bow on that. Want to talk about your favorite sport? I am a NASCAR enthusiast.
Competitive, fast driving.
I am unapologetically
country as hell. You got your Hardy
Shout
shirt
out.
on.
Shout out to
Paul.
the esteemed guest that sat in this chair last week. I am humbled to share the same chair as Hardy. But
we made it 5 episodes in, and we have. Has he won a Grammy yet?
No.
Okay, well then I'm not as excited.
But so we're 3 weeks in to the new season. When I talk about a little bit of history that's been made this year, Tyler Reddick is the first driver in a sport that's been ongoing since World War II.
Hell yeah, he is.
To win the first 3 races of the season for Michael Jordan's team.
How about that?
It
only took 1 lawsuit for them to get some wins.
Yeah, I'm going to put it into that. I know, I think I was watching the race with Dad, and he's like, well, the lawsuit. I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's not. But he's not the only one. Like,
right.
I mean, their NASCAR Twitter is a dark place, and that, I mean, certainly it's on everybody's mind though. Like, and it can't be like. So, for everyone who doesn't pay attention to that world, there was a very major lawsuit over the NASCAR offseason where Michael Jordan's team that he co-owns with a current driver and one other team sued NASCAR, which was major for the sport. Something, the sport really had never been challenged that way in the past. But then you turn around and you have one of those teams win the first 3 races of the season.
Bunch of soft asses.
Well, anyway, so Tyler Reddick has won the first 3 races of the season, but you had 3 wild cards. The Daytona 500, which is a holiday. It is.
Not anymore. The Super Bowl's taking its place.
Yeah. So I lose my President's Day weekend festivities. Atlanta, which is basically a super speedway now like Daytona, and a road course last week in Austin at Circuit of the Americas. But he didn't just win those races. Like last week, he, as The Rock might say, whipped some
candy ass.
But now they get into the meat of the season.
Japan.
And they go to some real racetracks, starting with Phoenix this week.
Left turns.
They're going to make left turns very fast.
I guarantee you, I bet. I am not a betting man, but if I were, I would bet that there will be no right turns made.
I wouldn't
this week.
I wouldn't guarantee that because I was watching a little bit of practice earlier, and there were some unintentional right turns.
Well, that's okay.
So it didn't end well for those drivers.
Well, fair.
So I'm excited. They changed the points system this offseason. I think it makes it a more pure form of autosport, or better than it was. So I'm looking forward to the refresh. I think it's going to be a great year. I don't know, Rob, do you have any NASCAR questions?
I'm just excited to see who's going to drive the fastest.
Yeah.
And here's my thing, and I said it too. I hope you would agree. My respect for NASCAR has changed. And I like to make my jokes because you get all riled up and it's adorable. But my respect for NASCAR, for racing, has changed. The thing with NASCAR, like I said, I don't know if I said it. I had it in my notes. I don't know that I ever got to it. But like here, we go to Pittsburgh Motor Speedway. That's right there. That's accessible. I have a ton of respect for that. I have a hard time, and it's true across many sports. I have a hard time sitting and watching a game.
Yeah.
Especially when it is a circular road that you can't even see everything.
I understand. It's not for everyone.
No.
But that's what makes it great,
But I think that the documentary that I know you don't necessarily care for. Am I correct in that? The Netflix one, what's it called?
Oh, it's not bad. It's a little on the cheesy side, but that's any documentary. You want to talk about a great NASCAR documentary?
Is it the Earnhardt?
Earnhardt on Prime. I'm going to make a plug for if you want a great NASCAR documentary, Earnhardt on Prime, tremendous work. Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale.
I'm not going to say. I got a couple things on my mind. I'm not going to say it. Do it for Dale. Hashtag do it for Dale going on this episode. Kate, make sure you remind me.
I'm excited for this season. Should be a good one. But yeah, they're going to go fast.
They're going to drive fast. They're going to turn left. Occasionally they will intentionally turn right, but it sounds like they will make some unintentional right turns
this weekend.
What you got next?
Your favorite college football program.
Pitt. Pitt is shit. Here we go. Talk to me.
So I know I think I had gotten a text asking me when I was going to come on the show to air my Pitt grievances. I'm like, funny enough.
Who was that?
Shout out to Nick Holuka for that. So I
should have expected.
Said, funny enough, I said I'll be there on Saturday. You know, Pitt, and I've never understood why I ended up being a Pitt fan. Growing up,
I don't either.
Growing up in not a Penn State house because
we were a house divided or a family divided. Mom's family
is more Pitt, more geared Pitt.
Dad, everybody's kind of converged now that Paul's gone to Pitt
and Dylan's gone to Pitt.
And Dylan's gone to
everybody.
Pitt.
I was a Pitt fan before being a Pitt fan.
Well, and here's the thing, and I took the road less traveled.
As a Notre Dame fan. So, Pitt. Being a Pitt fan is not easy.
It shouldn't be.
No. You accept this punishment when you sign up for it. But
a lot of it's self-inflicted.
It is, but it's another one. I'm unapologetically a Pitt fan. But the thing about it, with whether we're talking about Pitt or the Steelers or the Pirates or the Penguins or whoever, I'm an honest fan.
Yes.
I'm not a blind fan.
I will give you that.
If you find me in the stands on a given Saturday, I will fire Pat Narduzzi at least 5 times.
Yeah, you get your little yelling game.
What are we doing?
What the hell are we doing?
Well,
You get up. My favorite thing, and you get your arms flailing. And you've always had that thing, where you flail your arms. It gets worse when you get angry at Pitt.
I get a little excited. I just want them to do well, and I want them to stop being a feeder program. I think there's 2 things that I want to talk about. So, the first thing is NIL.
Yes.
NIL. I think when you look at it from a 1,000-foot view, NIL is a good thing.
Yes.
There were for a long time, and anybody that's followed this, thinking back to the early days of EA Sports, NCAA, and
game.
I think there was a player that claimed his likeness, was on the game, and
I remember
sued, or Terrell Pryor.
Well, yeah.
For signing an autograph.
I mean, yeah.
But for Pitt, and I want to go through some of the losses.
Okay.
This is, in my opinion, is just out of control.
Talk to me.
There are no rules, no repercussions. This started after Pitt won the ACC championship.
Yes. Which
was just a tremendous, a lifetime build for Pitt fans.
Yes,
because
won the third-rate conference championship.
Hey, it's still more.
It's a conference championship.
It's still more than our friends that wear blue and white can say. For
they
a
play
while.
in a legitimate conference, but we'll carry on.
They have 5 good teams in that conference, and everybody else is bad. Rutgers, Maryland,
Wake Forest.
Yes, well, we played Wake Forest. They were good.
They were good.
They were good at that point. I mean, there are ebbs and flows with everything, right?
Yes.
You know,
and I get that.
it's still the SEC's game to lose, although Indiana was tremendous. But anyway, getting back to this. So this all started the off season after Pitt won the ACC when Jordan Addison went to USC.
Right.
Didn't see that coming because I don't know that a lot of people had really grasped what was occurring with NIL.
Yes.
And the landscape that college football was going to take.
Correct.
But since then, you know, for programs like Pitt, it's just been a downhill slope. Like, as soon as you have a player that is even remotely good, like, you're afraid, like, crap, I'm going to watch them tear it up for this year, and then they're going to bail out of Dodge, they're going to skip the bowl game, and they're going to go play for somebody else next year that's going to pay them more than what Pitt is able to. Like, just this year, they had 3 quarterbacks transfer.
Okay.
Lost a promising running back in Juelz Goff. Kenny Johnson, who's been trying to get out of Pitt for the last, I think, 3 years, is finally gone.
Yes.
He's going to Texas Tech. Malachi Thomas, who was going to be a promising tight end, left. Francis Brewu is, I think, going to Notre Dame.
Smart man.
Although he was a Charlie Partridge guy.
Yeah.
And Charlie Partridge,
He's
who
at Notre Dame now.
honestly, tremendous coach. And I want to talk about him in a second.
Yes.
Defensive tackle, Jashir Weddington. I think the biggest blow of them all was linebacker Rasheem Biles. He's going to be a stud at the next level.
Yes.
I really believe that. Hated losing him. And both kickers. Like, people can say what they want about kickers, but they make a difference. Look at Seattle.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl.
That's what won them the football game.
And the point that I'll make about that is that guy was not even on the MVP ballot, which was a shame.
It was. It was.
The only time I think I would have ever voted for a kicker, but that guy deserved it. But anyway, so you lose a ton of talent. And I left out, I think they had like 2 or 3 guys from the offensive line room leave, and more that I have not talked about.
I mean, to me, as an outsider, that's what you need to fix. And hopefully they do that.
The offensive line was bad last year.
And here's the thing, like, I'm connected to that offensive staff, very spaced out connected. But they're good coaches.
This is a big year for them.
Yes.
Moving on from that. This is a big year for them. You know, this is Cade Bells, who is your connection.
Yep.
I think this is his 3rd year as the Pitt offensive coordinator.
Well, most of that staff is Valdosta guys.
The Cade staff.
Yeah.
Which I think you talked a little bit about that in your first episode. This is a big year for Cade. But he's another guy where everybody's waiting for the ball to drop, you know, some announcement saying he's going to go be the offensive coordinator of Florida, which I know there was a lot of rumbling this offseason.
He would do great down there.
And eventually that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
Like, he is not going to be at Pitt forever. Like,
right.
Again, part of the tough part of being a Pitt fan is you build these guys up and then they leave.
Well, that's the world of...
It is. But this is a big year for Pitt. And the piece that I wanted to bring Charlie Partridge in on is Pitt hired a new defensive coordinator this year. Randy Bates, longtime defensive coordinator for...
Phenomenal guy.
Coach Does, retired. Why didn't they hire Charlie Partridge?
Did Charlie Partridge want that job?
I mean, I don't know if he wanted that job.
Yeah.
But you heard maybe some names connected, and I can't remember. I think it's safeties coach they promoted to the DC, and I've heard a lot of good things about him. But Pitt has a hard time recruiting.
Yes.
Charlie Partridge was always known as
a great recruiter. Well, I mean, I have a buddy, Devin. We'll leave it at Devin. You know who I'm referring to.
Yes.
Who's another guy I'd love to get on the show, just to, if nothing else, banter with. Who has nothing but praise for, and as he should, for Coach Partridge. And then he killed recruiting this area. If nothing else, he obviously was a great national recruiter, but it's not a big enough job for him, which is asinine to say that a Power 4 FBS defensive coordinator job is not a big enough job for a coach. It's not a big enough job for him.
No, and I get that. I mean, you don't compare Pitt and Notre Dame. I mean, and you can. Pitt's beat them in the past.
I mean, you can. As of late, you can.
I mean, I know they got dog walked by Notre Dame when game day was in town, which that was exciting. That game day was here.
Oh, absolutely. And it's good for the.
As a Pitt fan, that was a huge moment, and then they went out and got dog walked.
Yes.
Anyway, this is a big year for Coach Does and the staff. Like the walls are closing in.
They have to be.
I mean,
they have to be. It's just, I don't know. And you're an honest fan, and I know you are. When is the last time that the University of, and this may be an asinine statement because they're a top 25 team at a point this year. When's the last time they were a relevant program long term? And my thing with Pitt fans, and I say this with the utmost respect because I've been an outsider from fandom and from a lot of things for a while, but if you're going to be a true fan base, then you have to be honest and reflective and say, and granted, they have a new administration now in the athletic department, so I don't want to say that it's not going to change. But at some point, you have to accept the fact that your administration is all right with mediocrity. And again, my dislike for Pitt is also largely a dislike for the way the ACC has gone. It's not just a Pitt thing. It is. It's a Pitt thing.
What it is.
It's a Pitt thing. But they play in a third-rate conference. To me, should not. That's the next conference to fall.
Probably.
But Pitt fans aren't honest, big scope-wise. Pitt fans. I really don't know. I'm trying to say it eloquently.
I know what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Pitt fans need to be honest.
Now, the same thing is, and here's the thing, where we want to compare apples to apples, maybe apples to oranges. You take a Pitt fan and compare it to a Penn State fan. Mind you, Penn State a year ago, well, I guess 2 years ago now, was a game away from a national championship. And they were calling for Franklin's head, not necessarily unrightfully so.
Yeah. But
they were calling for his head 3 games into a season. Mind you, a season after they're 1 game away from national championship. And granted, those 3 games, we were at one of them. And we were talking about it last night with Paul. I said, we were at this FIU game where they had to fight like hell to beat them, which is sad. But, and I'm not saying, in large numbers, Pitt fans aren't like that, where they're not necessarily. I know people are calling for Narduzzi, as they should. But on top of that, administrations listen. And more, and I don't think this is a surprising thing, college football, which was not necessarily a long time ago, not necessarily about the fans.
Yeah.
It is now.
Well, I think that sports in general. I mean, I want to talk about the NFL draft here in a minute, but that's the beauty of sports. So, you got people like us who are a little more honest when it comes to their fandom of specific teams.
Yeah.
But, you can just go and you don't have to worry about anything else, in the moment, no outside factors. You can just be a fan.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with, you should want your team to be great at whatever it is they're doing.
Correct.
Whether it's baseball, football, or hockey.
Correct.
So I've got no problem. I think there's some unrealistic fans. And I think, Penn State holds their team to a high standard, and that's totally fair. But what I'll say is, Pitt's athletic director, Alan Green, who's, I think, been on the job for, a year and a half.
Roundabout.
Has probably the toughest year of his
There's a lot coming up.
Job at Pitt. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I follow it enough to know what's going on. They're in trouble. And if Pitt football goes out and face plants ish again this year, the conversation has to occur.
Well, and you look at the change. Granted, it was a different conference, but we grew up and Pitt football was competitive. I was a Pitt fan, ish.
Briefly.
I would never turn. Still to this day, you give me the gear. I may not wear it, but I'll take it. But I wore Pitt stuff. I was a Pitt guy, Pitt. Something shifted. Because it's not just football. Pitt basketball used to be, they were a March Madness team.
Pitt basketball was always the highlight for the school. The Jamie Dixon era was exciting.
Yeah. And it's just gone.
All good things have to come to an end occasionally. The one bright spot I want to share is I talked about the outgoing transfers. The incoming transfer, who I think has caught some people's eye, is a Slippery Rock kid. Kanye Thompson.
Go Rock.
Is he the fastest player in college football? Or
that I couldn't speak to.
From what I've heard, he's super fast. He's a DB, which Pitt has not done. For a defensive head coach, has done a really bad job of developing and bringing in defensive backs.
Yes.
He is a kid who I wasn't sure if Pitt was going to get him, but when they did, I was excited about that. So he is a player. It's not all bad. You got second year of Mason Heinschel, who I'm excited about.
As you should be.
There are positives. It's not all doom and gloom, but that's the thing, though. You've got positives. We need to actually play into the positives.
Correct.
And, it's okay to make adjustments, change the way you're doing certain things. I know we, in Pittsburgh, have a hard time doing that, especially our sports teams. And the one I think we'll talk about next is really bad at that.
We'll get there.
But I think Pitt, a reasonable expectation this year is a top 2 or 3 finish in the ACC. You bring back a lot of guys on both sides of the ball, regardless of the transfers. You have an experienced coaching staff. So my expectation is to be competitive in a conference that isn't
There's not much
knocking any walls down.
You're right. I think Florida State will come back. I don't know. You want to talk about another guy that's
he's
got more chances.
This is this is his last year too, probably.
Right.
So there's a lot of moving and shaking that's probably going to happen again in college football this year.
I agree.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Here we go. I'm going to do, I don't want to say a favor because it's my honest opinion, but I'm going to talk. I was told I've been down on the Cowboys.
Huh.
So I'm going to be negative today on the Steelers.
Well,
which I
we
have.
might go 2 for 2.
I mean,
on that.
I have been kind of, and especially this week. I am doing my best with the lack of cursing, but Aaron Rodgers can. Go ahead.
Look,
Go ahead.
yeah, I'll talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that needs to take the T straight out of the city.
You want to talk? Yeah.
Like,
crash and burn.
There's just no reason, no good reason to bring him back.
There's not, and not only that, but I think what this generation of Rooneys has forgotten is that we are the, say, freaking Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care if you're God himself playing at quarterback. We don't wait on you.
Yeah.
We don't wait on you. And to have time to go, and I love him, you love him, Paul loves him, but to give time to go talk to Pat McAfee.
Oh, I don't love him.
I thought you liked Pat.
I mean, I like Pat, but that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Where, like, you're giving this guy a platform just to show that he thinks he's in control. And to your point, the Steelers need to take back control.
Yes.
Like,
and part of that problem was hiring Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, the owner is very naive, but
the owner, frankly, and I said I was doing it. The owner's a piece of shit.
Well,
he's a joke and a disgrace to the Rooney family. Beyond, and I'm going to give you a chance to counter that, but there is no counter to that. His grandfather and his father, to me, are both rolling in their graves because he has trashed what they spent a lifetime building.
Yeah, this is not your grandfather's Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. I mean, the last head coach tried to win games that way.
Yes.
By winning 13-10.
Yeah, and you don't do that.
You don't do that now. You don't.
That's not the game.
And, to give Dallas their credit.
How about them Cowboys?
Those offenses were spectacular.
Yeah.
Under Mike McCarthy. And I thought they were still spectacular under Brian Schottenheimer.
62-year-old Mike McCarthy. I know the show is new, but that's how we say it on here. 62-year-old Mike McCarthy. Just need to point that out.
I mean, if you want to talk about that, that's different from what the Steelers would normally do, where they're hiring a 30-year-old with no experience and want him to be their coach for the next 60 years.
Well, I'm not saying longevity hires aren't a thing anymore. But neither should 62-year-old head coaches, because here's the thing. And it's almost like, and I know it's not what the Pittsburgh Steelers do, and so that, any change is change in itself. But you also have to see what's on trend. To me, Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league.
Yep.
Hired at what? 30, what? Was he 30? Yeah, he was in his 30s.
Yeah, I mean, so was Mike Tomlin.
Well, yes. But, and I know his offenses were good in Dallas.
Yep.
But at some point, ingenuity is gone. And he even talked about it. I forget if it was with, he did an interview, whether it was Bob Pompiani or one of the local networks. And he talked about, I got this library that I've kept my whole career, which is great. I did the same thing, and it's in a box in our parents' basement. And you go back to it. But ingenuity at 62 years old, hell, at 28, I'm done changing things.
Well, I will say he's going to have a hard time deploying ingenuity with this roster.
Correct.
I mean, regardless of Aaron Rodgers, like, the cupboard is bare.
And that's why, and I've said it, and I know you don't agree with it, just from not necessarily conversations we've had recently, but in the past, just fail with Will Howard. Because here's the thing. It is going to be at least a miserable season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Whether you have Aaron Rodgers, whether you have Will Howard, whether you put me at quarterback, it's going to be a bad year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They're always going to find a way to win 9 games.
But when is that?
I mean, I've been pounding the table on this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time past since going 9-8 and making or limping into the wild card round.
Right.
Has been old for a while.
Correct.
I've been pounding on the table to fail with Will Howard. Like, we're aligned there. Like,
and he's a good quarterback.
And who knows if you're going to fail? Like, he may go out there and surprise you.
And I did
he
say
won a
I
national
said
championship.
Exactly. I said that at the beginning, it's episode 2, I think, on the show, where he's not a bad quarterback. He knows how to win. And I think, too, you look at... And he had a lot at his disposal at Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I think... And the other thing that doesn't get accounted for, too, look at how involved he has gotten in the city.
Yeah.
Like, he is in everywhere. He's the only third-string quarterback that's got advertising deals. I think if you put him in and you give him a chance... he is going to have every ounce of backing from this fan base.
Yeah, and no. I see it both ways. Steeler fans are fickle when it comes to the quarterback play.
Steeler fans are fickle about the way the air blows.
Like, I want...
Kate is awake.
I want to see them play Will Howard, and whatever that looks like,
mm-hmm.
It is what it is, because then, they have not. I'm not gonna slander the last quarterback that they drafted. I'm not. I know it. It didn't work out.
Kenny.
It didn't work out.
Do you think his hands were small or big, or were they adequately sized?
We're not gonna go down that path. I don't know that he got a fair shot, but I don't know that he was ever going to get a fair shot here because the expectations.
He was such a PR draft pick. And you can't.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and where it was a PR draft pick, you can't tell me they couldn't have gotten him on Friday. And we spent a first-round draft pick on him.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the last 10 picks in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's in most of the time it's not a whole lot better than the second round or the beginning of the second round.
Who was that Omar? Was he the?
No, it was. I think Kevin Colbert's
was that his last year?
Second to last draft.
Yeah.
That pick didn't set the organization back as far as some people will say, mm-hmm. because draft picks fail all the time.
Yeah,
they fail all the time.
mm-hmm.
Maybe the worst draft pick of all time, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Like, the Raiders have made the playoffs since, and they've been relevant since. They're not
mm-hmm.
relevant right now.
Oh, yeah.
But, you make a bad draft pick one time, but, they don't need to go and pick a quarterback this year.
Correct.
But if you play Will Howard this year and it doesn't work out, then you're set up to pick a quarterback next year, which next year's draft class from a quarterback standpoint is much, much better.
That is correct.
So if you want to talk about quarterbacks, the quarterback that doesn't get talked about a lot in relation to the Steelers is Garrett Nussmeier. So apparently, and I don't know what the connection is, but Mike McCarthy has some sort of connection
mm-hmm.
to I don't know whether it was LSU or Nussmeier's family.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about a name to watch?
Yeah.
The quarterback pick that would infuriate me is Drew Aller.
And that's right up the...
Two reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason why everybody hated the Kenny Pickett pick would be just the opposite for this. Everybody would celebrate that pick because he's a Penn State guy when Kenny Pickett got railroaded because he was a Pitt guy.
Right.
2, I just don't think he was that good. I just don't think Drew Aller was that good of a player. But Drew Aller didn't have a great last year at Penn State.
He didn't. And we go back to that, I think it was week 3 of their season, we went to the FIU game, why they battled so hard. Defense played very well for them, I think.
Yeah.
Drew Aller did not, and it was bad. It was a very bad offensive game.
The Steelers should steer clear of the quarterbacks in this draft.
Yes. And I've been saying that.
Any position but linebacker is a good pick.
Yeah.
This year.
I would agree. I would agree. And that's where I think I don't know if I've said it that clearly, but this is the one year in the draft. I don't care what way they go, as long as it's not quarterback, linebacker, second to that, but
they need to pick a receiver.
They need a receiver.
They need to do what they need to do to pick a receiver. The thing I'm a little afraid of is, the draft in Pittsburgh this year. Are they going to want to make some sort of forced splash? And I don't know what that is.
Defensive lineman, which I'd be okay with.
Well,
no. If they're going to make their quote unquote splash, it's going to be a linebacker.
It's going to be Ty Simpson.
Yeah,
is who the splash is going to be.
Yes,
they're gonna trade up and they're going to pick Ty Simpson, and that's not going to work out.
It's not.
I think Ty Simpson may end up being a great player in 3 years, but
yeah,
you have
for a program or an organization that invests in getting players to be great players in 3 years. The Steelers don't do that.
The Steelers, not just that, but investing in offense would be great. That would be okay.
Yeah.
If you invested in offense for a period of time, like I would be okay with that. Like, you want to talk about something that gets my blood pressure up, like that. Like,
you got pills for that.
You don't. I mean, defenses do win championships.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to give up less points than you score.
Yes.
But the Steelers don't score a whole lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
And the cupboard is bare.
Yes.
Like, I don't trust Jalen Warren.
Nope.
Who behind DK Metcalf is going to catch passes?
Put me in, coach.
Like,
I'm ready to play.
And they're
Kate didn't agree with that. Her face.
Yeah, I don't think you're going out and running routes.
And then I can make a cut.
But like and they're and the wins are starting to pick up on a potential DK Metcalf trade.
I wouldn't hate it.
But then you have basically you and me out there running routes, which nobody wants that. Nobody will be able to enjoy their Permanis.
Confidence.
Yeah, well, but that's kind of where I'm at. Where I feel like they need to invest in the offense.
Yes.
The defense is not great, but they don't need to pour a whole lot more money into the offense. So this draft is going to be...
You mean into the defense?
Yeah, sorry. You don't need to pour any more money into the defense.
You
need to pour money into the offense. So I don't know. They have Omar Khan and 62-year-old Mike McCarthy have their work cut out for them.
Real quick, before we transition, you said a team that is no longer, that was kind of irrelevant. What's the word I'm looking for? Irrelevant. Was the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
What age group would you put their prior head coach in that failed for them?
Well, that was always destined to fail, and I didn't understand that hire from the outset.
What age group?
Old. I mean.
Thank you.
I mean, there was a reason why it didn't work out at the end.
Correct.
With him in Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I mean, look, I didn't handle the Mike McCarthy hiring well. I'm
still not over it.
I don't think.
I'm trying to be optimistic because you have to be.
Well,
it is what it is. That's the situation.
I'm not very optimistic, but like, I don't hate it as much as I would have hated hiring, but I think Pete Carroll was 70 plus years old when
like 72.
The Raiders hired him.
Yeah.
So it's not the same, but I don't hate the idea of hiring a 62-year-old coach. That is not.
I'm not. Yeah.
Of all of the things, like that's. Because you can still have an innovative guy at 62. But
you can. It's just less likely.
Yes. See Nick Saban. I mean.
Well, he's the greatest coach of all time. Don't you disrespect my hero?
No, I'm giving him his flowers. Like
right.
You can be older and still be a great coach.
Right.
Like if I heard the Steelers were hiring him tomorrow, I'd say okay, great.
I wouldn't have been upset.
But I just the Steelers are forever stuck in purgatory. And we're just going to win 9 games for the rest of our lives and get shelled in the wild card round. That is just our destiny.
That sounds about right. That was good banter. That was
a little banter.
That was good banter. Let's get into what I think is going to be, as much as the banter was great. Let's talk about, when we were talking about this career talk, Kate brought up seeing it from both perspectives, because I had what I had going on, and then I had a family back here that was doing their thing, so I think that's part of it. Anything you want to start with?
So what I'll say is there's 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
So we're certainly proud of you for taking the leap. I think everybody that watches a sport feels like they can either play it or coach it,
right,
as well as those on the field. That is not the case.
It's far from it.
I think it's a couple of things. One, we don't know as much as we think we know.
Yeah.
And 2,
well, that's everybody, including coaches at points.
Yes, that's fair. See the early portions of this conversation. But 2, the lifestyle is extremely challenging.
It is.
I think that's something that we saw through you. We watched you live, but it was hard for us to see some of that.
Right.
There were some stops that were super successful and that weren't super taxing. Yeah. There were some moments in those stops that were taxing and challenging. But then when the struggle was real, it was not just the team wasn't playing well. You took it personally.
Yeah.
And
you have to.
It was hard on you, and whether or not you wanted to see it, it was hard on us too.
No, absolutely.
I mean, there was a lot of living vicariously through you for us. Like, we shared a lot of the same emotions that you did.
Correct.
So the choice to go into it was one thing, but the choice that you made at the end, I think, was equally as difficult. And
it was the hardest thing I've done.
I give you a lot of credit for that, and I think a lot of people do. And you've obviously got a lot of good things going on for you now, and I feel like life is starting to point back in the right direction.
100%.
So I think those are the 2 big things for me. Was it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. Doing it, choosing to do it, and then choosing to leave it.
Yes.
Is all very difficult.
Well, and that's the thing, and I guess that doesn't fit in yet, but we'll get there. For sure. I guess we can start at the start. I mean, and we'll just kind of briefly go through it. Do we want to start at Slippery Rock?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best place to start.
Slippery Rock was a great couple of years.
I mean, that was awesome. And that's where, I mean, call me crazy. If it wasn't, and I don't say this negatively, this may sound negative, it's far from a negative. If it wasn't for Slippery Rock, I don't think I'd dive into it.
That's right. I mean, you landed at the right place
at the
right time.
Right time.
That it just, I mean, and it wasn't just you. Like for me, I mean, I've always been a football fan, but that really, I mean, like after you moved, like I ended up getting season tickets for Pitt.
Yeah.
So like there was a new fire for me for football.
Right.
But we were at Slippery Rock every weekend for 4 years.
Which it meant a lot. It did, and that was.
It meant a lot for us too to see you living what was obviously your dream.
Right.
So that was exciting for us to play a very, very small part in that.
Well, I don't want to say it was a small part. I mean, we got what are the cinnamon roll things Mom makes at Christmas? Are they just cinnamon rolls? Caramel rolls, caramel rolls. We got those like every week.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that sounds like something simple, but it's not, because then you move to Valdosta, Georgia, and you don't get that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where I did not fall out of love with coaching. I don't think I have in general, but that's when it gets tough. So like here, when I was at home, quote unquote, for 4 years, it was great, and we had a ton of success. I mean, I think when I left Slippery Rock, we were at like an 80% winning percentage in my 4 years. You don't get that.
4 pretty decent years there.
That was great, and to have the family behind it, in person, not just behind it, was something even more special. Yeah.
I think at Slippery Rock, I saw one of the greatest bad games.
Which one was that?
That was the Notre Dame, was it semifinal or quarterfinal? Where there was
the one in 2019.
Like 150 points were scored in that game.
It was such a long game.
Like there was not an ounce of defense played in that game, and it was just.
But we kept scoring.
An absolute track meet.
And that year, I mean, that year was fun.
That year was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun. We had a ton of success. I was on the offensive side of the ball. I was on offense all 4 years at Slippery Rock, but we had a ton of success. And I mean, I don't want to say we could do whatever we wanted to do on offense, because there were games that we couldn't.
Most of the time you could.
Most of the time we could, and it was fun. And you almost get like this false picture of football in it. But
you guys always, in 2019, you guys always found a way. Like you look at the Kutztown game. I mean,
yes.
The first half of that game, like you guys weren't gonna win that game.
It was bad.
But then the second half was
come out and we get it done.
I mean, we're hugging people in the stands that we didn't know.
Josh is not a hugger.
I'm not a hugger of people I don't know.
I've tried to change that over the years.
Yeah. And like it was just a moment.
Yes.
For everyone, and then on the field with you guys after the fact was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave us some moments that I hold pretty close to the chest.
I'll remember those for the rest of my life.
Valdosta was hard. I think it was hard for everyone, because I know you missed out on some things here and holidays and such that you weren't around for that may seem like small things.
And that's the thing. I think in the moment, it's a small thing, right? Because I missed the one I know. I mean, I was at Christmases. I'd fly back for Christmas.
Yeah.
The noticeable ones were like Easter, per se, and which okay, it is what it is. I remember Easter of would have been 2021. This was my first year down there. I went to Cracker Barrel and got a ham dinner.
Yeah.
And FaceTimed you guys, but then, you fast forward to now. What was that? So 2021. Past 2 years later.
Yeah.
And I missed that.
You were here.
Well, not yes, I was here for that, but I'm talking about. I missed that time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think at this point in my life, I can accept the fact that I don't feel guilty about that anymore. But at the same time, that's time that I won't get back.
And I don't, like, there was nothing to feel guilty about because
right.
Of all of the people, like, they didn't, I know they didn't feel bad about that because, like, you talk about a guy that was a huge cheerleader, like, my goodness, for a guy that couldn't barely walk, like, found his way into the stands at Slippery Rock.
Oh, yeah.
There's some sketchy moments, but,
Did we cart him up? I forget.
No, he made his way up. So that was...
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, and that was just a small point, because there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot of people I could point out.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, I don't even know where, I'm trying to cloud a lot of this in my mind, I think. But, no, I mean, those 4 years at Slippery Rock were great to be home. I mean, the first year at St. Vincent, it was what it was. It wasn't anything really.
Well, that was the COVID.
That was COVID.
Yeah.
And then we went to Valdosta.
Yeah.
That was not a popular. I think
it was a surprise because we're the kind of.
I was voted most likely to never leave Hopewell.
I mean that, but we're the kind of Western PA family that doesn't.
We don't move.
Leave Beaver County.
I mean, we live 45 minutes away.
Which is a shock, still a shock.
And nobody
system.
gets it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. I mean, and I say I don't understand it. Kate lives 2.5 hours from home, and she's shaking her head off camera.
Yeah.
But like that, but that's the family dynamic. We haven't left.
Yeah.
And so I up and go to Georgia. I know amongst the elders in our family, not a popular decision. I think everybody, all the generations beneath them, you got to do what you got to do.
I think they ultimately got it too because they enjoyed watching on Saturdays. It was always an event.
And that was the thing. That was really our first time where we were. I don't want to say this like we were on TV, but we were televised at
when
Valdosta.
Flow Sports worked.
Well, when Flow Sports worked, they've gotten better.
Yes.
But I mean that was different, and that was on a whole. I mean, we were beyond successful at Slippery Rock. That was a whole nother level of success, which comes with a whole nother level of pressure. And I aged in 2 years at Valdosta. I aged.
Yeah, it was clear that took a toll.
It very much did, and as I mean, and I don't know if I've said it on here. So it was really a tale of 2 years.
Yes.
Very much tale of 2 years. Year one we lose one game in the regular season, go to the national championship, and I mean get absolutely mollywopped. I haven't really talked about that in depth, and I don't know that that's today's the time. But aside from a couple points, aside from the young coaches that I came up with on that staff, I don't have a ton of respect for how that staff operated. And the beauty of having a show is I can say that now. When I was in the career, you can't say that. I'm not in that profession anymore. I'm not looking to get back into that profession. As much as there are people out there that continue to ask me, when am I getting back in? I have, and this is part of we said at the top of the show, like I'm working on things. I am never, including as much as Kate has expressed possibilities, I will not coach youth football. I will never coach football again. And I am okay with that.
I just say never say never.
And I used to. I have zero desire to do it. And part of it was, it kind of started in 2021. And again, I can't emphasize enough, aside from the young coaches that I came up with on that staff.
You had a better year. 2021, I think we knew it was tough for you.
It was
2022 was a better year.
It was a much better year. I can't praise that staff enough. And they're on that, if you follow Prairie View A&M on social media, they were just, Deion Sanders had them up and had this big thing for them in Colorado, because he's SWAC. But that staff has since moved to Prairie View A&M, and to me, what I knew all along, Coach Jack, who we've talked about on the show, as far as I'm aware, is the first coach in college football to go to a school, call his shot.
Oh, he did.
And then do it.
What he did in 1 year there was really
it doesn't happen. But that's the thing, working for them and with them in 2022, I could have told you that. I could have told you working for him he was going to go on. And I still think he's young. He's 39, 40. He's going to go on, and he is going to be, in my mind, one of the best coaches to ever grace the game of football. Along with his staff, too. And that's the thing. I think I said it was a tale of 2 years. It was a tale of two staffs. It was a tale of two everything. That was probably one of the least successful years football-wise. It was not probably. It was. Well, no. The following year was not very good. But at the end of the day, I don't think I enjoyed a season as much as I did in 2022.
It was easy to see. It was easy to see, too. And it gave us a place to go. We got to go down and visit, which was a tremendous weekend.
Take you to Ray's Mill Pond.
Had great food in the swamp. That was enjoyable.
As a gentleman that has had hush puppies in the South and in the North hemispheres of the country, where are they better at?
I didn't have hush puppies.
At Ray's Mill Pond?
I did not.
What did you get?
I had catfish.
It came with the, okay, that's a whole.
I think I had catfish and French fries.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to run down this place.
Which I think you were upset about.
I was. Very brief part of the show. Ray's Mill Pond in Lowndes County, Georgia. Okay, you get the swamp combo. This was my order. Okay, you get the swamp combo. First, as soon as you sit down, they bring you coleslaw and pickles and crackers.
Yep.
And bottomless. They just keep coming. Order the swamp combo. You get gator and a fish selection of your choice. I would get gator and catfish. Okay, it comes with hush puppies, fries, and grits of your choice. You can go cheese or butter. I don't like cheese. I want butter grits. So I know for a fact you had hush puppies, but that is unimportant to this. So let's get back to the point at hand. Yeah, I don't know if we can really wrap up. I was watching the national championship for very briefly this morning. And I hated it. And I think, I could just see glimpses of me. Looking back, I can see that now. First off, I had everything on God's creation around my belt. But, I think if you can see me, you can see how little I enjoyed that time.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I love 2022. We weren't very successful But you saw what they were doing because I left after the 2022
Everybody
season.
had a lot to learn.
But then you see what they did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they completely flipped the program back to where it was. And so you can see it. And I mean, I've said it on the show, you have to have a down year to get back to where you want to be. They had a down year. Then they made a big playoff run. Then they went to the national championship. And now they're at Prairie View A&M. They won the SWAC. You know, they had a phenomenal Celebration Bowl. I don't count them out, obviously, this coming year. But that was a good group of guys to be around. I leave. I go to St. Vincent. I don't want to say it was a tough. I mean, personally, that was a very tough year.
It was a tough year.
It was a very tough year, more so personally than professionally. I mean, we were not good.
No.
We were not good. I may be biased. I think the defensive line was.
Defensive line was a good unit.
It was a good unit, and I don't want to say we carried us because I don't know where we were carrying us to. We weren't very successful, but
nobody was going anywhere fast.
But I thought the defensive line was good. I think the defense took strides.
That defensive unit was the best group of that team.
Absolutely.
I mean, couldn't count on much, but defensively, you knew those guys were going to leave it on the field because of the coaches on that side of the ball.
Oh, and that's the thing, and that's where I was going. I think we were a small staff. And that was a culture shock in itself too. I left Valdosta where we had, like, on defense, I was assistant defensive line and assistant special teams. We had 2 coaches at every position on defense. And then also in our special teams role, we had 2 coaches we had more than 2 coaches on special teams, but we had Coach Early coordinating and then me. And then, we fast forward to St. Vincent. Granted, I couldn't expect that because of a budget and just it's different.
Yeah.
So I'm used to having that division of power and that division of everything, and we didn't have that. And add in the personal stuff, that's when Pat passed mid-season. And I don't want to attribute that to me not enjoying football anymore. But I do think that, if I said it at his funeral, without Pap, I don't love football in my mind.
Yeah, no, I think that was for both of us too.
Absolutely, and I wasn't saying that to make that,
I know.
But so Pat passes, and we're just bad. And I remember, well, he passes on Friday. We play Case Western. It was a good program in that conference, good program in Division III. And we have them. We're a field goal away from beating them, and that set me off. But then I come back. I leave. We do the funeral stuff. I come back. We play Waynesburg, who they have kind of come back into the mix, but they're who they are. And at that time, they were not a good program. I don't want to say it should have been a cakewalk, but we should have won. And it's a miserable day. It's just pouring rain, and we're getting our asses kicked. And I'm not going to swear in this, but I'm just saying, what in the hell am I doing here? And I you can watch. There's no film on it, obviously, but if there was, you could see me. I was dejected. I did not want to be there. And not so much just because of everything that had happened the week prior. I was done.
It was a tough year. It just was, and it's okay to say, when things are going well, things are going well.
Right.
And when things aren't going well,
they're
not going well. That's with anything you do.
Right.
We all experience that, but
that's life. But so then we fast forward. That year was what it was. I enjoyed working with the people. I've said that on here. I enjoyed working with the people I worked with. I did not, and I know you texted me about it after we put the first episode out there. I'll double down on it. I have zero respect for the administration at St. Vincent College. If that's your cup of tea, if it's a great school, you'll get a great education. But if you play athletics, you have jokes running the athletic department. But that's, again, well, jokes not so much running the athletic department, but running the school. That's a whole nother thing. Text me, we'll talk about it. But we leave St. Vincent. I remember getting the text. My agent at the time texted me. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was going to work. And she said, what do you think about New Mexico Highlands? Who I'd known from in 2022 before Coach Jack and the staff came in. They were at Colorado Mesa, who's in the same conference as New Mexico Highlands. So I've seen their film. I knew about them. So my first call was to Coach Early from that staff. I'm like, what do you think about New Mexico Highlands? And he was, sorry, what are they paying you? What's the job? And I said, it's full time. It's my position. He's like, go for it. I call Mom. Mind you, this is all
You think Georgia was a shock to the system?
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And mind you, this is all at 5 o'clock too in the morning. Like I didn't wait. And she, for whatever reason, picked up the phone. What do you think about New Mexico? And you could imagine what she said. But I think she also knew I needed to get out of, not so much St. Vincent, I needed to get out of Pennsylvania again. And that's where I think I grew the most, too. I grew the most in Georgia. I needed to leave. Spent a whopping 3 months.
It took longer to drive.
It took me, yeah. It was, and that's the thing. 6 days out of the 3 months were just moving.
Yeah.
But what did you think of New Mexico?
I didn't.
Well, I mean, we didn't have time.
Yeah, didn't have it. I mean, we talked about going, but obviously that didn't happen. But I think that was a bit of a shock for all of us when, I think Mom called me that morning and said something about you considering a job in New Mexico. I was like, what?
Well, and it's the last place I thought. I never imagined. I thought I might go back down south. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. And I've said it on Garrett's show. I've said it here. I'd move today, even without football in mind. I'd move to Valdosta, Georgia. Again, I love the South. I love that. I don't like the humidity. I'm a bigger fella. I don't like humidity.
I understand.
But I mean, you got to go where you got to go, and
yeah,
it was not on my mind. But
nobody was going to stand in front of you.
Right.
I mean, it was. Well, the Georgia thing was hard for all of us. Like, I mean, we were, again, so used to all being
in the same
area, where you going to Georgia was challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But New Mexico was like, what?
Yeah. So let's fast forward all of 3 months. I get fired, and here's the thing we need to address too.
I understand.
I got fired. It wasn't they fired
it
the
was
head
a
coach.
Fancy way of yes.
I got fired, which happens. I'm not sitting here naive and saying, "Oh, I got fired." And all, like, you get fired. That's the profession.
Yeah.
What was the temperature like? That's the one thing I've never grasped. I have, because mind you, we're in the middle. So I get fired. It was going into Mother's Day weekend.
We were
cleaning Nana and Pop's house.
It was tense.
Yeah.
We were. I mean, but the thing about it was nobody was mad at you.
Oh no, and I knew
we were
that.
Just like
it was a tense time, and I knew it was coming. I think I had the two different scenarios because we had with the staff that was left at New Mexico, we had a couple scenarios going on where, well, it's May.
Yeah.
Are they going to look for a new staff, or are we going to be here on an interim basis? And, I know we were all kind of rallying for our defensive coordinator to be the interim head coach, and I was going to be the DC, and we were going to just move forward, and we knew we wouldn't get past a year, but we had a year.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm a fan of football. I don't claim to know everything, but I feel like I know some.
Yeah.
But I know about hiring cycles.
That's not it.
I just firing a staff in May was just ultra surprising.
Now, credit to them. They have been more successful in the past 2 years than they
that's
were.
not hard when you're winning a game a year.
Well, yeah, but that was what it was. It was a time, and we got through it. But
yeah, it was.
And that's the thing. I knew. I think because Mom was my first call, and I think she knew.
Yeah, I was working, and I don't remember why, but I was working at their house at that point, and she sat in the driveway for like a half hour.
Yeah. Well, I think you were waiting for them there or something, because you were still up in Wexford.
Yeah, and I was working at their house.
And you were going up to Nana Pop's.
That's right. I was down helping with that.
Mm-hmm.
And she sat in the driveway for like a half hour. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And that's, you were 2 hours ahead. My meeting was at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. It was 3 o'clock here. And she worked half day, and so, yeah.
But we're glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be home. And that's the thing. And where I was going with it, I don't know, listening to, and I've listened to Cody Johnson's music over and over and over and over and over again. I love his music. But listening to the words and knowing what we were going to talk about today, and listening to him last night, the comparisons, and I know Kate laughs at McElhaney men because we're emotional wrecks.
Yes.
But I'm sitting there, and the one song that has always gotten me, and it got me last night, was Dear Rodeo. And if you don't know it, I'm not going to sit here. I know I said I talk in the lyrics. We're running over time today, so we're not going to talk about the lyrics, but it's a good song. I think once you hear it, and we can revisit it at some point, I'm sure. Once you hear it, you'll know where I'm going with it. Just I do it all over again in a heartbeat, and I would. And when I say I would, I'm not. But I wouldn't change a thing. You have any games? What's a memorable game? We talked about the Notre Dame one.
The Notre Dame one, the last one at Slippery Rock, got to spend that with Paycheck. We went from rain to snow, and by the time we got to the car, my hands were so numb I couldn't unlock the car.
I slid down the hill.
That happened.
I slid down. I was leaving, and I decided I was going to take the shortcut, and and I know better. I'm a big fella. I don't go downhill. But
the Valdosta, West Florida game that we got to be at, that was a great game. The wrong team won that game.
Correct. Well, I wouldn't say that. Because we didn't win that game.
No.
And I think that game shows. Well,
had something to do with that.
Yes.
The IEP and Cal games, probably honestly, like the games we talked about.
IUP 2019 was a great game.
Probably the best one of all was the Kutztown game.
Yeah.
And that honestly is probably the best game football wise I've ever been a part of.
It was a really good game.
It was the coldest and hopefully the coldest game.
Featuring Kate.
Hopefully the coldest game I'll have ever gone to.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a ton of fun.
It was a great game. All right. We've talked about tough moments. Anything else you want to add? I think that was a good talk.
I enjoyed this.
It was fun.
I appreciate you having me.
It was a great episode. Make sure you follow us on. We're going to close out now. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for stopping by. We've taken up an hour and 45 minutes. And it's gone fast. But make sure you follow us on social medias. Link trees are everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Find us everywhere you catch your podcasts. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. I will leave you with this. As always, we have a quote. from the prior mentioned Lou Holtz. I follow three. Oh, thank you. Kate's back. I follow 3 rules: do the right thing, do the best you can, and always show people you care. You've got to make a sincere attempt to have the right goals to begin with. Then go after them with appropriate effort, and remember that you can't really achieve anything great without the help of others. Take that into your week, take that into consideration, and always remember, keep thinking. We'll see you next week.